Give us a sense of what you know about this and what you think happened exactly.
Well, Rish, the facts of this are not well known at the moment. That's one thing we do know. The bank has said that it has been the victim of a ransomware incident, and that means that malicious code has been executed inside their systems, according to them, which obviously denies them access to certain of those systems. But they have said, by my understanding, that they are restoring those systems now.
How does one get to the bottom of who's behind this? I mean, Lockbit is who the prime suspect is. I don't know what you know about them, but how do you actually get to the bottom of a cyber attack like this?
Well, this is what we call attribution. It is always tough, but what we do know about Lockbit is they claimed responsibility for 1 in 5 of the ransomware incidents in the region last year. They are the most prolific of the groups, but what I must say is that they are very fragmented. There is Lockbit software and there's Lockbit, the criminal group, and they rent out that software to other criminals in between. So it is hard for us to know exactly whether it's allegedly the computer code versus the criminal group. But what tends to happen is if they have conducted one of these criminal attacks, they will claim that attack on their what's called a DLS, which is their website where they put both the data that they steal and also their claims of criminality.
Alastair, I mean, we were talking about just how rare this is. Is it rare to see a cyber attack on a bank of this size? And what does that tell you? I mean, it doesn't really, bode much confidence of what companies are actually immune to these sort of attacks now.
Well, CyberCX's just released its updated ransomware and data theft extortion guide, and banks made up 7% of victims in the region, which is not the biggest. The biggest sort of group that gets attacked are professional services firms by criminals. So it is rare to see a really large bank affected, but it's not impossible. Everyone runs complex systems. Criminals only need to be successful once. So if this is indeed a ransomware incident, it's not impossible to imagine it occurring even on such a big bank as the ICBC.
So what's sort of the advice and sort of the message from an attack like this? How would you be advising your clients now on how to actually implement cybersecurity sort of protections? Are we likely, are I guess banks or companies just not doing enough at this point?
Well, you can always do more when it comes to cybersecurity, and it's always hard post-fact to tell an organisation that they should have done more. Of course, executives in any organisation that fall victim know they should have done more the day they become a victim. Look, what we have seen is a steady increase in the number of attacks in the last year on year. There are more of these ransomware and data theft extortion incidents. So it is something that all organisations need to prepare for. And there's simple things that organisations can and should do. Obviously, you rehearse for when an incident happens, because how you handle these matters are just almost as important as stopping them. But you can stop a lot of them by obviously shutting down vulnerabilities in systems, locking down access to multi-factor authentication for all staff and any entry and egress points to an organisation, obviously running really sophisticated cybersecurity software, endpoint detection software to look for this malicious code as it sort of detonates in our systems, and obviously having a really good understanding of what's occurring in your networks 24/7, 365. Now, even with all of that in place, ransomware and data theft extortion can still occur. Our aim as a firm that deals with this stuff, and every firm out there that is trying to just go about their day-to-day business, is to reduce the likelihood of these events occurring, and then perhaps just as importantly, the harm associated with the events when they do occur.
Well, you've got essentially the CIA triad, if you will, CIA meaning confidentiality, integrity and availability. Then you've got firewalls, then you've got these three-way handshakes. It's really difficult to get through all this. Tell me then, what does ICBC do to lock it down? How can they mitigate this as well now?
Yes, well, firstly, the trouble is we have what's called the defender's dilemma, and that is we've got to be right 100% of the time. The criminal only needs to be successful once. It's a huge bank. We see victims in big organisations and small all the time. It just needs one staff member to have obviously perhaps slipped up to help install criminal software. It might be that technically there was something that they were going to fix and hadn't got around to it yet. The criminal only needs to find one unlocked door in order to start causing harm. And then it's about speed to detection and how quickly you respond as an organisation to minimise the spread, the contagion that is this malicious code and these criminal threat actors. So absolutely, Rish, organisations that are investing a lot more, all of us know how much harder it is for us to get into our own systems and do our normal work. That's designed to put cost and calorie spend into the criminal. But we should never forget that criminals are always going to be successful. It's only the question of how often they're successful and how much harm is actually successfully carried out by them, because criminals monetise harm. And what we have seen in the last year is an increase in the way in which criminals are trying to maximise their harm. So what we are seeing them do is contact a lot more executives in victim organisations. We're seeing them contacting secondary and tertiary parties that are affected by these malicious acts, threatening them and trying to convince them to get organisations to pay. So, look, unfortunately, we're dealing with criminals. They are always going to be trying to rattle our doors and break our windows, and they will be successful from time to time. There's obviously a lot more information to come about what's happened in ICBC.